Hope you are all fine. Today we shall be discussing the female reproductive organ in case of human. So, you please see the video till the end because I shall be discussing the questions also which comes from this area. So, let us start. Female reproductive structure, as you can see, the whole structure it lies in the peritoneal cavity. Lies in the peritoneal cavity. Now, what is peritoneal cavity? The area which is around the pelvic girdle. That area is known as peritoneal cavity. Along with reproductive structure, we have excretory system also in this zone. And lot other structures also, but these are the important structures which are exclusively present in the peritoneal cavity. Now, what are the organs which constitute female reproductive structure? The main organ is ovary. The main organ is ovary. There are two ovaries, a pair of ovaries present on both sides of uterus. Now, the ovary is attached to uterus with the help of ovarian ligament. And also there is a very thin membrane-like structure into which all these organs are attached. It's a connective tissue which keeps organs in place, and this is known as mesovarium. Mesovarium. So with the help of ovarian ligament and mesovarium, ovary remains in its place in the peritoneal cavity. Ovary is known as primary sex organ. Why? Because it produces egg. It produces female gamete. That is why it is known as primary sex organ. There is only one primary sex organ in case of female, and that is ovary. There is only one primary sex organ in case of male, that is testis. So, ovary is the primary sex organ. Other than this, the other organs are called secondary sex organ, which is fallopian tube, uterus, vagina, and the external genitalia, also breast. These are the secondary sexual sex organs. These are the secondary sex organs. They help in case of development of a child, birth and development. Reproduction, sex organ, all these, they are associated with creating a new life. Creating a new life. So, ovary is the primary organ in this, and all these organs are secondary sex organs. So, now let us start from our discussion with ovary. Ovary is almond-shaped structure. It is 3.5 to 2 to 1 centimeter in area, and it is made up of many follicles which ultimately give rise to egg, Graafian follicle and egg, and all these things are there in ovary, which we shall be covering in next video. Here we shall only discuss the structure of reproductive organs. So that is ovary, which is 3.5 centimeter long, 2 centimeter broad and 1 centimeter deep, almond shaped, flat in structure, and it is connected to uterus as such. After ovary there is fallopian tube. This is fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is 10 centimeter long. This is 10 centimeter long. 10 centimeter long. And it consists of 4 parts. One part is funnel-like, which covers the ovary, because ovary every month from either of this ovary, sometimes from this, sometimes from this, every month there is an egg released and it falls in the peritoneal cavity. Now, the function of this mouth of fallopian tube is to suck that egg. Otherwise, it may fall in the peritoneal cavity. Okay, there is no direct connection. It's only like ovary is there, and on top of that, like an umbrella, the mouth of fallopian tube is placed. Now, it has to suck the egg. For this purpose, the mouth is provided with tentacle-like structure, and also the cells have cilia, which beat in one direction, and it kind of pulls the egg inside it. This structure is known as fimbriae. It is kind of tentacle-like structure. Then the funnel-like area over the fimbriae is infundibulum. Infundibulum, it is a funnel-like structure. Over infundibulum is ampulla. Ampulla is the place where fertilization takes place. Fertilization, that means the union of egg and sperm. Sperm will come all the way from here to the ampulla, and it will unite with the egg. So these two gametes will unite, and here the zygote will be produced in the ampulla. So ampulla is very important, function is asked many a time. Now, the place where fallopian tube joins with the uterus, this is known as isthmus. Isthmus. The place where fallopian tube joins the body of the uterus, that is known as isthmus. So, fallopian tube consists of 4 parts: fimbriae, infundibulum, ampulla and isthmus. Then comes uterus. Uterus is again 7.5 centimeter to 5 centimeter into 2 centimeter in area. 7.5 centimeter long, 5 centimeter broad and 2 centimeter deep. This is uterus. Now uterus is divided into few parts. Now we have to know the names of those parts. They are the top umbrella-like portion. This is known as fundus. Fundus. The top umbrella-like portion of the uterus. Then the whole area is known as body. Body of uterus. And the lower portion is known as cervix. Lower portion of uterus is known as cervix. There is a hole there, and this is the place from where fully developed fetus comes out. The head portion comes out through cervix. Cervix is surrounded by muscle which are relaxed at the time of parturition, when the birth is about to take place, and that muscle is relaxed with the help of hormones. Now, as I have told you, the main function of ovary is to release egg, develop and release egg, and also another important function is release hormones. Hormones, the female hormone, which is estrogen, progesterone, relaxin. These 3 hormones are released by ovary. So those things we'll talk about later. Now, cervix is that area from where the baby comes out. Cervix also, you must be familiar now that there is a cancer, sometimes cancer growth happens, which is known as cervical cancer. And now to protect from that thing, we have a vaccine, cervical vaccine, which is very important. I hope you all the girls have taken. So this is cervix. Now the place where cervix ends, there starts vagina. This area is vagina. Vagina. Vagina is 7 to 10 centimeter long, and vagina is what opens to the exterior through external genitalia. Vagina is the portion which takes up sperms. During sexual intercourse, vagina is the place which takes up the sperm, and sperms are led through uterus to the fallopian tube. So that is the function of vagina. So I hope function and structure of the reproductive system of female is clear to all. Let us revise once again. Ovary, it is the primary sex organ. The function of ovary is to produce egg and also female hormones. Ovary is attached to uterus with the help of ovarian ligament and mesovarium. Then we have fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is a long tube which is 10 centimeter in length, and it is divided into 4 parts. The mouth is known as fimbriae, which has tentacle-like structure. Then the funnel thing is infundibulum. Then there is ampulla. Then there is isthmus. Function of fallopian tube is to capture the egg, let it to the uterus, and also let fertilization happen. Fertilization happens in fallopian tube. Then we have uterus, where the baby is implanted. The zygote is implanted. Zygote is implanted here, and development of baby happens in case of in uterus. The full development of baby, which will take 9 months and few more days, it happens in uterus. So that is what uterus is. Uterus is lined with endometrium. Endometrium. Now this endometrium has got thick blood supply. Thick blood supply to favor the development of baby, and when pregnancy does not happen, this blood supply falls off, which results in menstruation. We shall talk about that in later video. The menstrual cycle will be completed in next video. So this is the function of uterus, to develop the growing baby. Then we have vagina, the function of which is to take sperm and also help the baby come out from the body. So this is in short the structure and function of female reproductive organ. I hope you have understood. Let us now quickly try to understand the female external genitalia, the portion which can be seen from outside. Now look at this structure. This is the vaginal opening, And since it is a very delicate structure, it needs protection. And the protection is provided by two lip-like structure, which is known as labia minora. It's a fold of skin over the vaginal opening. Labia minora is again surrounded by labia majora. So these are the two lip-like structure which protects the vaginal opening. Vagina has got one more protection in the shape of a membrane, a very thin membrane, which is known as hymen. Though hymen sometimes get ruptured in case of an adult girl, but it is there in young girl. Just where the two lips of labia majora they meet, there is an organ which is known as clitoris. Now clitoris is an erectile organ in case of female. Though very small in structure, it can be compared to the penis of men. Above the clitoris is that area where there is pubic hair, and that zone is known as mons pubis. Now, there is just on the side of vaginal opening, there is a pair of gland which is known as Bartholin's gland. Bartholin's gland. The function of Bartholin's gland is to keep vagina lubricated. It secretes mucus and it keeps vagina lubricated during sexual arousal. So that is the function. Look at this picture. Here it tries to explain the exact position of uterus or the reproductive structure in the body, where exactly it is placed. As you all know, it is in peritoneal cavity, that means inside the pelvic girdle. But which organs are in vicinity? So now, as you can see here, this structure is the urinary bladder, and bladder comes out through urethral opening. Just above the bladder is the uterus. Just above the bladder is the uterus. So you must have seen pregnant women, they tend to, they have the urge to urinate quite a lot. Why? Because the growing baby increases the size of uterus and it puts pressure on the bladder. And so there is urge to urinate more. So there is urinary bladder, then there is uterus, and after that is the rectum. So uterus is basically placed between urinary bladder and the rectum. So that's how the placing is done, and this is the external genitalia. This is all for female reproductive structure. But as I have told you, I would discuss the questions. So let us quickly do that. The most important question from this part will be a 5-mark question. Describe the female reproductive structure of human. So there you will have to describe the entire structure, all the organs, right from ovary to fallopian tube to uterus to vagina to the external genitalia, and also mention function in just one line. So this will suffice, and give the diagram of course. So this will be a 5-mark question from this area. Then there can be some 2-mark, 3-mark question like fallopian tube, what is fallopian tube, different parts of fallopian tube, where does the fertilization takes place, and so on. Then there can be question on ovary, give the structure of ovary and the function. So structure we shall be discussing. Function, as you all know, is to release egg and to release hormones. What are the main hormones of ovary? It is estrogen, progesterone and relaxin. These are the 3 main hormones of ovary. Then question can be on uterus. Describe the structure of uterus. So uterus, you will have to write the 3 zones of uterus, that is the body, fundus, body and the cervix. And also you will have to mention the walls of the uterus, from perimetrium to myometrium to endometrium. Now endometrium is thickly supplied with blood vessel to support the growing baby in case of pregnancy. And if the pregnancy doesn't happen, then this tissue along with the blood vessel, it falls off as menstruation. So that we shall be talking in the next video. But just to keep in mind, if the function of uterus comes, so you will have to write all this. And don't forget that uterus basically is a cavity. Okay, it's a cavity and it can grow to a large extent, support the entire fetus. So that is the characteristics of uterus which can be mentioned, and also a large question can be on external genitalia. So this is all, my dear friend, my dear student. I hope you have liked, you have understood this topic, and in case if you have liked it, please give like, share the video and subscribe to my channel.